Welcome to Brunner Studio's playing tutorial for Sonatina in C major, Opus 36, Number 1, Movement 2 by Muzio, Clementi. There are probably hundreds of differently edited versions of this piece. I personally have 5 different versions on my music shelf. This edition was the average of those I've seen, and Brunner Studios has no affiliation with this version. The second movement of a sonatina is always very different from the first movement. It is best not to compare the two movements, but to treat them as two different pieces that will be played as one later on. Movement 2 is in a different time signature and key signature than movement 1. The key signature for movement 2 is F major. You have a B flat in the key signature. All of the B's in this piece will be flat unless otherwise marked. The time signature of this piece is 3/4 time. The first movement was in cut time, and this movement is in 3/4. There will be 3 beats in each measure. The tempo of this movement is also different. Andante. Andante means moderately slowly. Dynamics. You will begin at pianissimo, very quietly, softer than piano even. It is also marked dolce, or sweetly. Hand position. Your right hand begins with your 2 on the C above middle C, and your left hand begins with your 5 on the F below middle C. Your hands will stretch and move throughout this piece. Ornamentation. You will see there is a trill marked on beat 3 in the third measure. We should play this beginning on A above the written G and down to G. These 2 notes will be played while the C is playing in the left hand. You will return to the A above the G that is written and play A and G evenly with the E. On the final subdivision of this beat, you will play F and G in the right hand evenly spaced over the G in the left hand. Let's hear an example of this now. This figure also appears in measure 21 and measure 25. Left hand triplets. The triplets in the left hand, you will play 3 notes on each beat. These will sound as triplet, triplet, triplet. You will later also have triplets in the right hand. Moving down to measure 8, you have a slightly different rhythm between the right hand and the left hand. Here you have a dotted 8th note followed by a 16th note. The 16th note will come slightly after the last triplet in the left hand. Let's hear a playing example of this. Pay attention to any accidentals such as this B natural, and remember that it continues to be B natural throughout the measure unless marked otherwise. In measure 16, you have 2 notes playing at the same time in the right hand. It is important to strike these notes at exactly the same time so they sound together and the piece does not sound sloppy. At measure 24, you have the same figure with the dotted 8th note and 16th note over triplets. Refer back to measure 8 to see how this is played. At the end of the piece, you could add a slight retardando or slowing in the last measure, even though it is not marked in this score. As mentioned in the introduction, This is simply one editing choice available of many. If you do not like the editing in this version, please select a different version. You can make your own dynamic choices throughout if you do not agree with the one shown in this score. You will find many resources to hear this piece. You will even find multiple versions here on YouTube. Find a version you like and listen to better understand this selection. Thank you for studying this piece with Brunner Studios. If you would like to see more educational content like this, please like and subscribe to this channel.